Greetings, Watford fans. Happy Friday to you. And my name is Omar Moore, and welcome to the Orns Friday Focus for this game tomorrow, Saturday, between Watford and Manchester United at Vicarage Road. We are back now from the international break, and I hope you had a good 2 weeks away. But now it's back to business as the Golden Boys get ready for the game tomorrow at the Vic in the Premier League. Now, Watford have a few injury issues, but most everybody is available. The only people who are not are Peter Atebo, Christian Capicelle, also Francisco Sierralta, who got injured during the international break. Those players will not be available, and Uraj Kuchka will miss the game through a suspension following the second yellow card that he got at Arsenal a couple of weeks ago. As other than that, pretty much everybody in a Watford shirt will be available. Tufan is looking to beat a fitness test ahead of the game tomorrow. It will be a match tight day decision on whether he will be featured in the squad for the game. But pretty much everyone else will be available. Josh King, Emmanuel Dennis, and the rest of the Golden Boys as they take on the Manchester United side, who I think have been very erratic this season. They seem to get off to a good start, but they have been rocked by a string of very bad results. They've lost at home to the likes of Aston Villa, who got rid of their manager, Dean Smith, just a couple of weeks ago. They also have lost very poorly at home to Liverpool, who doesn't, and also have lost at home to Manchester City, who doesn't. And United have not looked good in much of their games this season, not as impressive, even with Ronaldo back in the fold. United lack a certain something, lack a certain cutting edge. And Watford have to take full exposure and full advantage of that tomorrow in the game, as they will have to be more aggressive tomorrow and be even a bit more physical against the Manchester United side, who I think lack a lot of physical toughness. There will be no Pogba to contend with. There will be no Rafael Varane to contend with. There are going to be late fitness tests for people like Luke Shaw, among others, who may or may not play in the game tomorrow for United. I think what you're going to see from United is a very forward-thinking, attacking type of lineup. You're going to have the Cavani's in there, and we'll see if he does, but it's likely he will play. The Freds of the world, all the people who I think on their day can actually be decent for United. Fred, who has been much of an enigma for United in his time, can be capable every now and again of pulling a rabbit out of the hat. A United side who are hungry for a win and hungry for some consistency, just like Watford are. So they're going to go at it and go at it pretty well. Ollie is still under pressure for United. And Watford, however, with Ranieri, look like they're getting their sea legs defensively. And that's going to be a big key in this game. Watford's defense and how it puts its stall out. The defensive mentality obviously must be first tomorrow for Watford in this game, but they also must be prepared to do some physical battling in that midfield. And certainly without Kuchka, that could be a factor to see how they shape up. But Musa Sissoko always up to the task, who has already overnight really become a leader of this Watford side. And I think that he will be certainly a catalyst tomorrow. Expect Tom Cleverley to feature at some point in this game as well. As for the defending at the back, Nkulu to me has been the most impressive defender, even though he still really is not 100% match fit. I think he has been the defensive star for Watford so far, and I think he will get plenty of reinforcement. I think the Watford defending will be very good tomorrow. They're going to have to continue in the vein that they have coming off of the Arsenal performance. Even though they lost the game, I thought their defense was markedly better despite the error from Danny Rose. Very, very porous from him. And Danny Rose, if he is to start tomorrow, is going to have a far better game, because against the bigger opposition in the Premier League, he has largely shrunk from duty. Against Liverpool at the Vic, he was very poor. Against Arsenal at the Emirates a couple of weeks ago, very poor. So two big opponents. Danny Rose has not shown up big. He's not shown up well at all. Now another big opponent, and this time again at the Vic, Will Danny Rose step forward and stand up and be counted? That's a factor. I think that's going to be a key tomorrow. I think the defensive line is only as good as all four defenders can be, including on the wings. And as Danny Rose goes, quite frankly, so goes Watford. I think if Danny Rose has a good game, you can pretty much expect that defense at large to be very solid and very good. If Danny Rose is good tomorrow, I think Watford stand a good chance of getting a point. But because we don't know what to expect, and because Watford have been so up and down in these games, who knows what's going to happen? I'm not even going to guess as to how Watford are going to perform, but I do think that they will have some onus and energy tomorrow. You would think that after 2 weeks off, Watford would be chomping at the bit, especially after performance against Arsenal, where they acquitted themselves well enough despite the goal that I think was, should never have happened because it was a foul on Sarr. That's all well and gone now. And the referee who really had an Arsenal shirt on, that's all gone now. It's 2 weeks ago. We've now got to look at what is in front of us. And I think Watford tomorrow can, if they get the defense right, and if they do apply the physicality to United that I think Watford are capable of on their day, I think Watford can cause United some problems. Certainly, United can cause Watford some problems, obviously, with the kind of world-class talent they have, and it remains to be seen if Marcus Rashford is going to play, but he probably will. And then you've got Cavani to deal with, you've got Ronaldo to deal with. The thing with Ronaldo, though, he does not track back in these games, never has really throughout his career. So Watford perhaps can exploit some of that. That I think the key for Watford tomorrow is obviously the defensive base. If they continue to consolidate what they did against Arsenal defensively, and if Danny Rose plays a whole lot better than he has in a load of these games lately, I think Watford can certainly set out a stall. The question is, can Watford keep a clean sheet? They kept a clean half against Arsenal 2 weeks ago, but can they keep a clean sheet in this game tomorrow against Manchester United? United do not score a whole heck of a lot of goals in a lot of these games now. The question is, can Watford stop them from scoring? And obviously, Watford will always have a chance if they can get to half time without having conceded a goal. They will have a chance to kick on in that second half. But the key for me in this particular game is Watford must score first. If Watford get their noses in front against Manchester United, I think Watford have a chance, a really good chance of coming away with 3 points. This is a game, it's an enigma game. It's hard to predict what you're going to get tomorrow at the Vic in this contest. A desperate Manchester United side, a manager who is under pressure. If he were to lose this game, Ollie, the shouts for Ollie out would come again. And certainly losing against a team in the bottom 3 or 4, Watford sit at the 17th position in the bottom 4 before the start of play tomorrow. That would be a massive, massive thing if Watford were to get 3 points, and it would put, of course, a lot of pressure on Ollie. If Watford were to get a point, it would be a good result, but it may not keep them from being in the bottom 3 by the end of the day, or certainly by the end of the match weekend. And if Watford were to lose the game tomorrow, it would send them most likely into the bottom 3 with still 3 very difficult games to come after that. So I think Watford now will have to play for the shirt and play for the fans tomorrow at the Vic. Please, the key for me in this game, and I say this to Watford, please come out with some fire and some energy. Please don't lay an egg at home. Do not come out the way you did in these last 2 home matches, the game against Southampton, the game against Liverpool before that, where you were flat, you had no heart, you had no desire, you had no energy, you had no sense of urgency. Well, this is a game where you have to show up with some urgency and some energy. And if you can do that, you are at least on the right track. I'm all for giving an effort, even if they lose the game. I'm all for Watford giving maximum effort, maximum commitment, maximum endeavor, maximum tenacity tomorrow. If they were to lose the game 1-0, you really can't complain, of course, depending on what the circumstances of losing the game is and how they lost it. But a team that gives effort, this Watford side that gives effort, is always going to be a Watford side that I'm going to be proud of and happy with, even if they were to lose the game tomorrow. I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. That's why they play the game. This has been Omar Moore for your Orns Friday Focus. between Watford and Manchester United, the Premier League game that takes place at the Vic tomorrow.